Pitchler, and I make Anchorage my home because I grew up here, my family's here, and I think most of all I really like the mountains. Being able to look around and see mountains everywhere you are, it's pretty special and unique, and not many places elsewhere can have that same experience.
What makes Anchorage home for me, I think it's the opportunity here, not only economic opportunity, but the opportunity to meet diverse people and get diverse experiences. We're so close to the rest of Alaska. People make jokes about that, calling it Los Anchorage and talking about the real Alaska is nearby, but that's not true. There's nothing more real about Alaska than Anchorage.
I have lived in Anchorage off and on since 1968. I love the people, I love the mountains, all these fresh vegetables that we have that we grow in the Matanuska Valley. I just love Alaska, and Anchorage is a great place to live, great place to raise your children, great schools, great churches, great city.
What makes Anchorage home? Well, these guys right
our
here. Our friends, the salmon,
our family,
and the mountains. It's a beautiful place to live, a fun city with great people.
We love Anchorage.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and what makes Anchorage home is a sense of community, and you can never meet a person who isn't willing to talk to you and help you out if you're in trouble.
I consider Anchorage as my home because it has Alaska Native cultures, it has inertia, and I haven't lived anywhere else besides here, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. The summers and winters are different compared to other places, but it's called home for me.
Anchorage is my home because I never really run out of things to do here. I like that we kind of have an abundance of, like, there's a social scene here as opposed to the smaller towns.
Even though it's a big city, it has a small town feel, but you're not up in everybody's business. So I love being able to go to the grocery store and see my high school history teacher, or to go to the library and see a friend that has recently had children that I haven't seen in a couple of years. I love being able to connect with people that I have known my whole life and to meet new people too.
I drove up the Alcan 13 years ago just for an adventure and found out when I got here something that I really hadn't anticipated, and that's that most of the folks that I've met here in Alaska and here in Anchorage are out to enjoy life. That's their main thing. They're not out to impress somebody or out to achieve something particular, but they're out to enjoy life, and I just love that because it is very enjoyable. I was amazed when I found out there was over 100 miles of paved trails within the city, inside a lot of native forest, and you see moose out your back door when you live in the city. I saw a bear just 10 minutes from my house, and I live in the city, and it's really made life wonderful. It's been wonderful to be so close to nature and to have all of these opportunities for adventure just outside your door. I really do love Anchorage, and I'll be here for quite a while.
I lived here since 1974, and what makes Anchorage as my home is this beautiful surrounding mountains and the friendly people who lives up here.
What makes Anchorage home to me are the people. I love the people, I love diversity, and I love the kids. And I just like the way that when it's nice outside, everybody in Anchorage is out. I've been here over 30 years, and I just love it.
I was born and raised here, and I want to raise my kids here, and we have friends and family here, and I don't think I could live anywhere else and be able to raise my kids in such a great place.
I love Alaska. I love Anchorage, especially summer. It's beautiful, and it's my home now. I'm actually belong here.
I love living in Anchorage because it's an incredible place to be a performing artist. It's an incredible place to be a cultural interpreter, a cultural representative. It's got great, it's a great municipality. It's got a great performing arts center. It's got a lot of incredible things to do every day, every week. It's a beautiful place.
I like the people. I I think that's Alaska's greatest resource.
Recently I moved to Michigan for about 9 months, and I recently moved back. And while I was in Michigan, I really found out how much Anchorage was my home, because I missed everything. I missed the mountains, I missed the diversity, I missed the schools. I just missed everything, and there's no other place like Anchorage in the entire world, and I firmly believe that because it's such like a special place to me.
I love Anchorage because it's one of the cleanest, modernest cities I've ever been across. I've been here 38 years now, and it keeps getting better every day. People are friendly, casual, and it's called the land of opportunity and the great future of the North.
Just about anything that you're into, you can find in Anchorage. You know, if you're an outdoors person, you can do that. If you're an artsy type of person that wants to go to plays and art shows, you can do that. If you want to go to the museum, you know, there's just all kinds of different things to do.
Hello, my name is Shelby, and Anchorage feels like home because even though it's a big city, it has a small town community.
I love Anchorage for its four seasons, great coffee, big mountain, and international community. And here in Anchorage, I got the opportunity to work on a project to make Anchorage the #1 city in America to live, work, and play. It's actually called Live, Work, and Play Anchorage. So yeah, I'm here to make it #1, and that's why I love it even more.
You're in a nice city with a lot going on, but you can get out into real Alaska very quickly. People come through here all the time from the villages, from everywhere else, and so it's a very, in that sense, like a northern cosmopolitan community.
I'm a lifelong Alaskan, but I love the city. I love the vibe of the city, the arts and the culture. I love the fact that in my neighborhood in Spenard, you know, there's so many different people and from so many different backgrounds, and we get together, we have fun. The great thing about Anchorage is people are really laid back, and they love to hang out, and just from here you can go anywhere in Alaska. You know, you can hike, you can see wildlife down your street or out in the woods. Anchorage is just a great place to live because there's so many opportunities and so many neat people to be with.
I love being up here in the summers. I think it's the fishing, the outdoor, hiking in the mountains, definitely the mountains.
Anchorage is where I grew up, so I have a really deep connection to this entire place. Just the mountains is probably one of my favorite things. I lived in Juneau for a little while. The mountains were right on top of you. Here in Anchorage, the mountains are far enough where you can appreciate it, and that's probably one of my favorite things.
Anchorage is my home because it's a beautiful city where you can ride your bike all night, all day, have fun, drink beers, stay out all night, and see any sports team you want ever, and get pretty wild and play music, and yeah, I guess that's what makes it home. It's friends, cats, sports, and music.
There are so many things in Anchorage that aren't on the tourist path, so you just kind of have to stumble upon it. You definitely get over the shock of seeing wildlife in your backyard, and it's more of a, oh yeah, yesterday, you know, the moose came back and they ate all of my apples, versus, oh my gosh, there's a moose! So that's one thing, you get used to it. Still not used to bears running around town though. That's a new one.
I moved away when I was 18 to go to college and for a few jobs and grad school, and I always came back here because I realized after living in many other places that I have the highest quality of life here, in large part because I can exercise at any time of day or night in the woods. In the winter you can see where you're going because of the snow, in the summer you can see where you're going because it's not dark. So in terms of being outdoors and being able to exercise. But as I moved back here as an adult, I realized I love it here because there's so many languages spoken, because I have the chance in my work and everyday life to learn from Alaska Native values from the people who have been here for 15,000 years.
Well, Anchorage is what I like to call a big little town or a little big city or something like that. It's a big city in that you get all the conveniences, you know, the museum and the zoo and all the restaurants and whatnot, but it's also small enough that you still feel like you're out in the country. You can step out your back door and go hiking.
The Anchorage weather is such a great mix of relatively mild weather. I mean, we've got a mild winter, mild summer, and of course the people are great. I love the folks of Anchorage. I love the people of Alaska in general. But they all come to Anchorage sooner or later, so we get to see them all. We have great bike trails here. We've got recreation available, almost a bike ride away, and if it's too far to ride your bike, you can always take a car.
It's really not that big of a city. You know a lot of people, and I think the remote trails, if anybody who loves the outdoors could experience the remoteness and just getting off the beaten path, they'd fall in love with it too.
Why we love Anchorage, first and foremost, family. It's a good place to have your kids grow up. It's not the big city hustle and bustle, but at the same time, you can have your nightlife out here downtown. It's great outdoors, go fishing, beautiful, beautiful scenery. Come on, baby, help me out.
Got everything. We lived everywhere. This is where we came back to and wanted to stay.
I like the shopping, of course, and the museum. The museum is one of my favorite things. The botanical gardens, you know, I just really enjoy getting out and seeing the parks and the nice things that are here.
God, it's a wonderful place to live. It's got cultural events. It's multi-cultural across a wide variety of different races. It's a wonderful place to recreate. There's things to do during the wintertime. There's things to do in the summertime. Wildlife living in Anchorage. It's a great place to raise a family and kids.
It's a city, but compared to the outside, we're super small, so we do have that sense of community that I think a lot of other cities don't have. And it's a really great place to raise children, so that's what I'm doing.
Most of us are from out of state, and we're all very friendly and share with each other, I think more than other outside communities.
It has all the attributes of a big city, but you can be out of it in about 10 or 15 minutes for the nature.
I like it here, and I love it. A lot of fish, a lot of nature and beautiful.
Well, what makes Anchorage home to me is its many neighborhoods. In fact, you know, I've lived in Mountain View for many years now, and it's a walkable neighborhood. It's diverse, it's vibrant, and you know, it's just cool to be able to walk places and have easy access to parks and community gardens, and be able to see your neighbors on a daily basis, walking past your house and enjoying the walkable streets.
I'll never leave this place because it's such a beautiful place to raise kids. And hey, who wouldn't love this place?
Anchorage is my home, having lived here for some 50 years, because of its diversity and its small size and the fact that we all know and love each other.